Alright guys, so here's the plan for class today. Two really important things to do. The very first thing is to do that rough draft check of your Vermilion River lab report. Now you should have been given two different copies. One is a big checklist and the other is a rubric. What I want to do really quick is talk about how to use the checklist and then how to use the rubric. And then after that, I'll talk about your second task for class today. Now the checklist looks like this, and there's a left-hand side that says team check, and really that should say self-check, and then there's a right-hand side that says peer check. Now the very first thing you're going to do after you've opened up your lab report in Google Classroom or Google Drive, however you want to do that, is to go through yourself on your own and do the self-check. So take a look at the data from this year and figure out, do you have your data table? Do you have everything displayed in a meaningful way? Which means, is it in the right spot? Does it show everything that it needs to? Do you have the average and range there? And the data tables and graphs all have descriptive titles, meaning the year, the location. Do your X and Y axes have the correct labels? All that kind of stuff. Now, if you do have what you need, just put a little check mark next to the letter A, B, C, whichever ones you have, put check marks. Whichever ones you're missing something, leave that line blank, and then over on the left hand side in the margin here, write yourself a little note of what you need to fix, because that's the whole point of today, is figuring out what you've done well, what you haven't done quite to standards yet, and then reminding yourself of what you need to fix for later so that you can fix what you need to. So you're going to do that for every single Roman numeral 1 through now let's just do 1 through 6. Okay. If you didn't do the habitat survey, don't do the second Roman numeral number 5. All right. So you'll do that just for you, and then what you'll do is you'll give this sheet of paper to somebody else in class, and what they're going to do is the exact same thing you did. Okay, but for your particular lab report. Okay. So I would take a look at somebody else's document. I would look at their data from this year, and in as much detail as I can, I'm going to look at the lab report and figure out if this person has what they need or not. Okay, almost to the point where you're being a little too picky. Okay, for rough draft checks, there's really no such thing as too picky. All right. So if the person has what they need, put a little check mark over here on the right hand side for the peer check. Make sure you put your name over here as well on the right hand side. And then again, if they're missing something, like the person didn't describe the possible causes of impairment, leave that line blank, and then make sure you write a nice detailed description of what they're missing and what they need to do to fix that. Okay. I want you to write it in on that sheet of paper, and also in the actual document itself, this guy right here, there should be a comments button. Okay, and what you'll want to do is click that comment button and type in the actual comments of things that they need to fix. Now if there isn't a comment button, just do me a favor, or do the person you're doing the peer check for a favor, and write it in or type it in a different color so that they can see that later on when they're going back and fixing things. Okay, so that's the goal for the first half of class, is to get that self-check, peer check done. Now the second goal for the day today is to go to our class webpage. Like I showed you guys yesterday, I want you guys to go down to the chemistry folder, click on the chemistry folder, and then what you'll need to do is watch this atomic structure video using your iPad. Okay, so use your iPad, watch that video, and then also on your iPad, take notes on that video using Notability. Okay, I'll be checking those notes, so make sure you have them done. Yeah, Okay, so those are the two most important things: getting that self-check, peer check done, and then also watching this video about structure of an atom and then taking notes using Notability. Okay. One thing I forgot to talk about for the lab report is the other document you got was the rubric. Now this rubric, as you can see, is what I am going to be using to grade your lab report. So when you're editing your lab from today until when you turn it in on Friday, make sure you are taking a look at that masterful, because that's the A column. Take a look at what it means to be masterful and do as much as you can to get to that range. Okay. If you have any questions, email me or we can talk when I come back. All right. Good luck, guys.